Hello, Own Your Value members. This is our emotional health training number 3. So today we're going to talk about a technique that comes from a book. So I'm going to recommend a book, but it's not part of our course, but it's additional reading if you're interested. So this book, even if you're a man, you can read this book, but I don't know if it's maybe as applicable. I'll just say that. I've never been a man, so I don't know. But what we're going to be talking about today is swamping. So I have a pillow, and there are many elements to swamping. And I'll be honest, I haven't used this practice a lot, but I use variations of it, and I'll share with you why it's really valuable. So really what this is an emotional practice that allows you to fully express your emotions. We in our society are taught to suppress our emotions. We are taught to hold them in, to hide them, to not let them out, to not be too much, to really bury everything inside. So this is really an opportunity for you to let it out in a very intense way. So a lot of times when we're experiencing grief and anger and we've been taken advantage of and things have happened to us, we feel like we just need to go to therapy and talk about it and be a bigger person and move through it. And sometimes our emotions need to be expressed in a more powerful way. We need to scream and yell and shout and hit things, and not people, things. So the idea of swamping is to let out mainly traditionally suppressed emotions, and mainly ones that feel very too much, like anger, like yelling and screaming, and hurt, like deep hurt. So you can imagine wailing, yelling. A lot of times we're told we can't do that. So swamping requires you to have a safe place where you can scream and yell. So some people I know will yell in their cars, but the thing about swamping is it's supposed to be a little bit more full body. And you're supposed to be wallowing in your pain, essentially. And you can even dress up for this. So you can wear really ugly clothes or dirty clothes, or you could dress in something that was like a sack type thing. You can wear something that feels really comfortable or cozy, but ideally you set the scene. So you get dressed, you can play sad music, you can do this with somebody else. I've mostly only done it with myself, and so I'll play music that fits the mood, and I will allow myself to scream or wail or make whatever guttural, visceral noise I want. So I have a pillow, because another thing that you can do is you can hit things with a pillow. If you have physical emotions, so you can get up, you can stand up, you can stomp your feet, you can, roll on the ground, you can kick and wail and scream like a toddler, you can hit things with a pillow, like furniture or a wall or something like this. You can really let out whatever is built up inside of you, because what we know is that when these emotions are built up inside of us, they're not going away. They're staying inside of us until they are let out. And sometimes journaling about them can let them out. Sometimes some of the practices we did in the first 2 videos can help to release some emotions, but sometimes you need something more, especially if you've been through something that was very hurtful or very unfair or very painful, or very, you're heartbroken, or you're somebody cheated you, or something very unjust has happened. It is so important to give yourself space to express that. And I think we used to think that was appropriate. I know historically, when people died, people would cover themselves with ashes, dress in black, and wail and scream. And we had these very physical and outwardly expressive ways that we could grieve, when someone died. And there would just be this very long, drawn out process. And I know even in Mexico still, when somebody passes away, there are I think 4 days of different traditions that happen that all involve expressing the sadness of that person passing. and everyone comes together and everyone like cancels whatever's on their schedule, and they fully immerse themselves in this experience of grieving the person that has passed. And we in our culture do not have this. We're not there when they die. We don't, we cremate them. We don't have a ceremony. We have a celebration of life, and nothing bad with any of that stuff. But if you're not having, my point is that it's healthy for humans to have a way to express our emotions, and something that feels very wild and untamed and unbridled and out of control. And so that's really the idea of swamping. And so this might not be something that you want to like schedule, like I'm gonna swamp every day. Maybe you do. Maybe you have like so much pent up anger and frustration that you feel like, actually, if I committed 5 minutes of swamping every single day and I put that on my new habits calendar, then that would let me like fully release all this stuff, but maybe you do not feel like you need to do it every day, but maybe you schedule it once a week. Maybe you're checking in with yourself emotionally on a daily basis. You're spending a few minutes each day, but then every Friday or every Sunday or whatever, you have a time and a allotted amount of time that you can swamp. And so for me, the way that I've done it is I like listen to music that helps me connect with the emotion that I'm feeling. And I let myself like sing and scream and be very like, for me, I feel like being very vocal is good. Like if I feel like crying, not just like letting the tears come, but like wailing, like really allowing those emotions to come out. So if you are thinking of infusing one of these, swamping as one of your habits or as one of the things that you visit to support your emotional health every week, I will have a checklist. I'm going to send you a checklist. If you are not part of Own Your Value and you want to be, you can go to kateinparadise.com/value to join us. But Own Your Value is officially starting next month, and we are going to be committing to something every day that supports our emotional health. And depending where you're at in your emotional journey, the first training video that we had this week was about, just connecting with your emotions. And then yesterday was more about diving deeper and reclaiming your power from your emotions. And this is really if you know that you've had something that has happened that you have not allowed yourself to fully express, and something that maybe has been really hard. Maybe it is a death. Maybe it is, something really devastating that happened, and some form of abuse that happened to you or something. And you've been bottling it up. You've been trying to like take the higher road, and you just feel like you want to go wild and you want to let it out in the most like visceral, primitive sort of way that you can. This might be exactly the habit that you want to start infusing. I have 2 more emotional health videos for you this week, so I'm excited to check in with you 2 more times and share some more practices that I know could help you bring yourself into emotional balance and integration in your life. And I'm so excited to embark on this Own Your Value commitment with all of you that have joined that space. Go to kateinparadise.com/value if you've not joined yet, and I will see you in the group. I'm sharing a lot of fun stuff this week, so I look forward to connecting with you there. This is Kate in Paradise, and I see you shining.